Let's bring it into the movies, right, Albert? We'll take a look at what is going on at the box office with Michael Snyder, who it's always a ding-a-thon, ding-fest when he joins the show to talk about the latest offerings at the box office. Is that right, Albert?
He
Yes.
is here
All right.
on the rainbow.
He comes and goes on a rainbow. No one says it like Mark says it. Hi, Michael Snyder. How are you?
I'm fine. Happy to be here with Kim Possible and
Mm.
Alberto the Magnificent. And, it's been nonstop fun since last weekend with Halloween parties that lasted
Yeah.
into the wee hours of October 31st, followed by the solemnity of All Saints' Day and
Yeah.
yesterday's Day of the Dead celebration. And by the way, for
Yeah.
Day of the Dead, I tried to contact the ghost of Jerry Garcia on the astral plane
How'd that
until a
work for
friend
you?
informed me that the holiday had nothing to do with that day.
Where are my weed
Oh.
smokers at?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was grateful for the correction. Anyway,
What did you dress up as for Halloween this year?
I was a bohemian ne'er-do-well. Oh, wait, that's
Oh
my
wait.
normal baseline existence. Anyway, so
Oh,
speaking of the dead, Elvis Presley, okay? Because we really
yeah.
should get into film reviews, and we're going to kick things off with Priscilla. We have had a heaping helping of Baz Luhrmann's kinetic, candy-colored Elvis biopic and the rollicking Netflix animated series Agent Elvis, which suggests that during his career, at the height of it, in fact, he became an agent for a super secret organization. You remember those shots of Elvis with Nixon getting, the FBI badge or whatever it was?
Yeah.
This suggests that Elvis indeed was part of a black ops organization, and it's very funny, and I enjoyed it. But back to back, Elvis and Agent Elvis, and now here comes Sofia Coppola's, or is that Sophia Coppola's movie about the king, or more specifically, his queen, Priscilla, taking a sideways look at Elvis through the eyes of his teenage sweetheart, eventual wife, and of course, inevitable widow, Priscilla Beaulieu Presley. Mother, by the way, to the late Lisa Marie and grandma to the talented actress and filmmaker Riley Keough. And Priscilla was good. I mean, from the time when Elvis, stationed in Germany during his stint in the army, meets 14-year-old Priscilla, daughter of an army officer, and is smitten with her. That's right. She was 14. Deal with it. Through their courtship, eventual marriage, and all the personal turbulence and showbiz hysteria that followed, Coppola tries to fashion something deep and resonant about the woman in the maelstrom and the price of celebrity. Better put, the toll taken by the gift of fame and fortune. But its episodic approach often felt muddled and scattershot to me, which was kind of not helped by the murky cinematography in some sections. I mean, the sequences in Germany look like they were shot all in natural light, and not a lot of it. And there's also, moments of mumbled, overlapping dialogue, probably meant to give the movie a cinema verite, you are there feel. And of course, Elvis was a noted mumbler, right? Thank you very much. So that was probably expected. And I have to say, there are things to admire here, but mostly I have to say Kaylee Spaney's performance as Priscilla carries this. She does a beautiful, beautiful job.
I've never heard of her before. Is she new on the scene?
No, she's been in a few films before. It's just that she's never had a starring role like this. And
Okay.
Coppola has given her this lovely showpiece to display her skills. Look, no one is touching Austin Butler's Elvis from the Luhrmann movie, but Jacob Elordi was solid here as Mr. Presley. Still, I was not blown away by this. Could I be suffering from Elvis fatigue after Elvis and Agent Elvis? That's possible.
It's a lot of Elvis.
I know. By the way, I should point out it's fair to know straight up that both Agent Elvis and Priscilla were co-produced and thus heartily endorsed by Priscilla herself. And the movie, it offers a real insider's take on her experience and the trials of being the wife of Elvis. I just wish it didn't leave me so cold and unsympathetic to the couple.
What's
And, you know,
interesting about this is I was reading this article where Lisa Marie Presley spoke out about this before she died, and she called this movie vengeful. She said it's negative, it makes her dad look awful, and she called on Sophia the Coppola to say, don't do this movie. This is way too negative.
wow, you know, we know so much about the seamy side of Elvis's life, you know, and particularly the end of it and his, you know, bloated stint in Vegas and how he died and what have you. That there's already a lot of negativity in the air about certain aspects of the Elvis Presley story. So I don't know if you could really call it vengeful or evil. I guess they tried to be even-handed, and clearly Priscilla loved him, and yet, you know, I can see how Lisa Marie might have been a little put off about it. Then again, I don't know what her mental state was at the time, and you know, it's all water under the bridge. One more little note: there's very little classic Elvis music or Elvis music here, whether it's for the rights reasons or because of creative decisions, but it might be instructive to remember the lyrics to Suspicious Minds, one of his big hits, when considering Priscilla's story. I'm caught in a trap. I can't get out because I love you too much, baby. So, I mean, when you think about that and you think about their relationship, there is something very there's your resonance right there. Anyway, Priscilla is in theaters, and I think it's going to be a good watch at home as well. You know,
are you recommending it?
Tentatively. I wasn't crazy about it, and again, I think burnout probably contributed to my shrug-worthy response, you know. All right, let me talk about something that is not a great movie, but I enjoyed immensely. Quiz Lady, which you can watch on Hulu and has a lot of talent involved. Quiz Lady is a comedy with some family drama woven in here and there about a young woman who is the little sister of a troublemaking, egomaniacal, narcissistic elder sister. And the younger girl has spent her life fixated on a game show. And this game show has been like, you know, manna to her. She loves it. She watches it. She is obsessed by it. And she's very, very smart. And she works in kind of a cubicle drone job. And the only joy she gets is from watching this quiz show. And what happens is her sister, who has been out of the picture, shows up needing money, kind of desperate. And circumstances develop where the younger woman rather, has to audition for the show in order to get the finances to basically pay off a debt that their ne'er-do-well gambling mom has rung up with a local criminal. So Awkwafina plays the young woman, and Sandra Oh in an absolutely fantastic comedic performance. Awkwafina is kind of the straight person here as the quiz-loving younger sister. Sandra Oh is absolutely great as Jenny, the older sister, while Anne, you know, is basically beleaguered for most of the movie and has to step up and audition and be a part of the show, which, by the way, is hosted by an actor that we love, and that would be, of course, Will Ferrell, who plays the host of the show. There's supporting work by Tony Hale. Holland Taylor plays the cranky woman who lives next door to Anne. Jason Schwartzman is in the movie as like the 80-time champion of the show that our heroine Anne has to dethrone in order to kind of make the money she needs to pay off the big debt. And I was very entertained by the movie. It's not a great film, but it is funny. And man, Sandra Oh has got skills. She can do drama, she can do action, she can do comedy, and here she's totally in her element. So I give this a tentative thumbs up. Again, you can watch it on Hulu, directed by Jessica Yu, written by Jen D'Angelo. By the way, Tony Hale, who you might know from Veep, who played Julia Louis-Dreyfus's kind of a fixer associate on Veep, plays the owner of a Ben Franklin themed inn in Philadelphia. And he's dressed as Ben Franklin, and it's really a funny set of sequences with Tony Hale. I enjoyed Quiz Lady. What can I tell you? It's not great, but it's not a waste of your time whatsoever.
Okay, cool. Quiz Lady. I've seen the advertisements pop up when I'm playing Words with Friends, and they're really long. So I was kind of like, what is this and why is it on my screen? And now I think maybe it's something that I could watch. So cool.
It's cute. You can watch it with your kids.
Okay.
It's fun. And Will Ferrell in a supporting role. I didn't think much of his performance in Barbie, but here he's truly in his element. He plays kind of an Alex Trebek type. And in fact, this quiz show that they do, this fictional quiz show, is very much a Jeopardy style program. Jason Schwartzman is very funny as the arrogant, multi-time champion who can't believe that this timid girl is going to possibly dethrone him. Anyway, I don't want to say much more about it. Let's move on to The Marsh King's Daughter, which is kind of a crime drama. It's a thriller, and it's okay. Basically, it concerns a young woman who, as a child, was raised by her father and mother in the wilderness of Michigan. And her father was sort of like a back-to-the-land survivalist type. And it turns out that there's a really ugly backstory as to why they're out there. And eventually, she grows up and becomes a more conventional citizen in a city with a husband and a daughter. But her father, who is, shall we say, unhinged, is always lurking and could possibly come back and ruin her life. And she basically has to lean on all the skills that he taught her when she was a child to somehow protect her own family. And
that sounds almost like horror and thriller at the same time.
It kind of is. Daisy Ridley plays the grown-up Helena. She's pretty damn good. You know her as Rey from the Star Wars movies. And Ben Mendelsohn plays her dad, who becomes known as the Marsh King for what he's done in his dark past. And Mendelsohn is a really good actor from the UK. He was in Secret Invasion, the recent Marvel thing with Samuel L. Jackson, playing Talos, the Skrull. He's also been in a couple other Marvel films. And here he's completely not that guy. Totally different character. Very well acted. I have to say also that Neil Berger was the director here, and he directed two movies I am incredibly fond of, The Illusionist and Limitless, which actually the latter spawning a TV series, and the movie Limitless starring, among other people, Bradley Cooper. This is not up to those movies. The Marsh King's Daughter is not at that level. But despite a predictable script, it was engrossing enough to merit home viewing, at very least, thanks to the solid direction, visually expansive wilderness settings, and again, really good acting. The Marsh King's Daughter, it's okay. I mean, we're sort of on the fence this weekend about these movies.
Is this one in the movie theater or is it on TV?
It is currently in theaters, and I assume it's going to eventually end up streaming. And, the script was okay. I mean, I really feel like nothing has blown me away this weekend. And I wish I had better news, right? I don't know. What can you say?
Not even The Kill Room? The Kill Room might have blown you away, no?
Well, I will mention The Kill Room. The Kill Room is sort of a satire of art. It's also a bit of a thriller, and it has a pretty impressive triumvirate of actors at the head.
That's a ding word for sure.
The cast. I mean,
thank you.
Uma Thurman plays a failing art gallery owner and hostess, and Sam Jackson plays a criminal who has a money laundering scheme that he's going to try to get her to help out with by selling off fake paintings and then getting clean checks. She gets a percentage. So her art gallery business is failing. She's being humiliated by her fellow gallery owners and art connoisseurs, and she has to do something to revive her business. So she agrees to go into business with Sam Jackson's criminal boss, who has a hitman who he convinces, and the hitman is played by Joe Manganiello, and he convinces him to do some abstract paintings. And inadvertently, the guy becomes the toast of the art world. So there are some amusing moments here. This is, again, not a great film, But the cast is so good, and the idea is sort of cute, and the conceit of a brutal murdering hitman becoming the toast of the art world is kind of fun and cool. He I don't want to reveal some of the visual gags here, and when I say gag, I do mean occasionally that kind of gagging. But there are some moments, not great, directed by Nicole Paoni and written by Jonathan Jacobson. It's definitely a home viewing thing. It's in theaters right now, but you can also stream it on various streaming services, including Amazon and Prime Video. So the hit room, the kill room rather. I thought it was okay.
Okay. So let's review. You said Priscilla, you weren't crazy about it. You had Elvis Overload. That one's in theaters. You said The Quiz Lady, entertaining and funny, and you kind of liked it, but not overboard. You weren't overboard.
No, it's solid entertainment, but it's kind of forgettable.
Marsh King's Daughter, you said that's okay. It's a thriller. It's in theaters. And then The Kill Room, you said, meh, it's all right. That it's in theaters, but you think it's you wait for that one to come to your house.
No, it's already available on streaming.
Oh, it's streaming. Okay.
You don't have to wait. And it has its moments, but again, these movies are not the most memorable of the four. Is probably Priscilla, but I think it's flawed. And I do think the most fun is Quiz Lady. Quickly, let's talk a bit about television. May we?
Please. Yes. What's on TV?
Okay. We are a number of episodes into the sequel to the award-winning, long-running sitcom Frasier, about the pompous call-in radio psychologist Frasier Crane, played by pompous right-winger Kelsey Grammer. And the show was about his interactions with family and friends in Seattle. And that was, spun off an equally successful sitcom called Cheers, set in Boston. So it's years later. Kelsey Gotta Eat. They've done a revival. So Frasier. I
haven't seen it. Do you like the show, or is it missable?
Let me, with caveats.
Okay.
It's like a comfortable loafer, putting on a comfortable loafer. Some of the writing is so by the numbers, and some of the jokes are flat and forced. But there's a certain charm to the cast of characters he surrounded himself with in this thing. Frasier in this show has relocated back to Boston after a long run as a Dr. Phil-style TV host in Chicago. I don't know, maybe under the Oprah umbrella. Anyway, it's so many years later that Frederick, Frasier's kid with Bebe Neuwirth's Lilith character, is now a hunky but bemused firefighter in Boston. And Frasier moves in with Freddie, initially dubbed Frederick, creating a mirror of the dynamic between fussy Frasier and his working class ex-cop father in the original version of the show. So, they're kind of flipping the switch on this thing. Nicholas Lyndhurst, by the way, from the massive UK sitcom hit Only Fools and Horses, he's right there on the right. He plays Frasier's colleague at Harvard, where Frasier is now a professor of psychology because he has been recruited by the dean of the psychology department to raise the celebrity profile, of her department. So in any event, Freddie has got a cute single mom actress, will they or won't they, neighbor across the hall. There's Frasier's nervous nephew, son of his brother Niles and Niles' wife Daphne from the original show. And this kid is comfortable in his collegiate academic pursuits, but socially inept like Niles. By the way, David Hyde Pierce and Jane Leeves, who played Niles and Daphne, have not been slated to appear on the show, and John Mahoney, who played Martin Crane, Frasier and Niles' father so well, is dead, R.I.P. But Neuwirth and Perry Gilpin, who was Roz, Frasier's producer on the old show, are slated to guest star at some point. Frasier is, like I said, it's like comfort food. It's not great. It's not anywhere near the heights of the original series, and times have changed. So, it's not going to be that good by comparison, but I find it kind of comforting to watch. Isn't that crazy?
How you say comfy old shoe. That's awesome. No, I see how it would be that way because the characters are familiar, the humor is familiar, and probably the settings and the scene familiar as well.
Sure, they hang out at a bar, not Cheers. I'm wondering why they haven't just gone to Cheers. They do hang out at a bar with the firefighters and the Harvard students and professors. Anyway, I don't know. One more quick note: Ghosts, the original UK version of the haunted sitcom, is now in its 5th and purportedly final series on the BBC. And take it from me, it's still funny as hell. A young woman inherits a mansion from a relative she doesn't know. She finds out that it's haunted when she's hit in the head, and she can actually see and interact with generations of ghosts that live there. The idea was adapted very closely for an American version that became a massive hit for CBS here in the States. And they had so much success with the American version that the network is actually going to start running the original as well, beginning on November 16th. Followed by reruns of the American version, which I guess you could do like an A-B compare and contrast. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it's going to, the American version is going to have new episodes coming sometime after the SAG-AFTRA strike is finally settled. In the meantime, I love the original British version.
A quick note, we got a text from Lori, a chat from Lori. She says, Brie Larson is shocking me with how good she is in Lessons in Chemistry on Apple. She said, saving new episode for later along with fellow travelers. Excited.
Good. I will check that out. We do have Brie Larson headlining the big movie next week, The Marvels, which we will discuss hopefully next Friday. But in the meantime, always a pleasure, Kim. You can check me out. Check me out on Twitter or X at Culture Blaster, on Threads and Instagram at Mike the Knife 123, and absolutely on the Mark Thompson Show every Friday.
Absolutely. Mark will be back next Friday. But until then, thank you, Culture Blaster Michael Snyder. And I appreciate you coming in and you come and go on a rainbow. That's right. Thank you, Michael Snyder. Bye. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.